so many of you, joining the group, subscribing for the channel. It was really nice. So now, as I said, the class will be continued till end of the session. That means I'll try to finish up all the chapters, and whatever is needed for your board examination will all be covered here, along with the important questions, practice papers, and everything. So now let us move on with the same thing. So last time we have done till object, that means the states of objects and its behavior. Today we are going to talk about the features of OOP, features of object oriented programming, and the four basic features about which we are going to talk are abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So we are going to talk about these four. So first of all, let us take abstraction. In class 8th and 9th both, you have covered this topic abstraction properly. See, what does it mean? According to the definition, see, computer is a wonderful subject because if you can understand the term, the meaning, the English meaning of the term, you can easily frame a definition on your own. So abstraction is actually a process in which we provide the user with the essential features and hide all the background details. This is what abstraction is all about. I'm going to discuss all these 4 points in both the terms, real life scenarios and according to the programming. So first of all, the real life example of abstraction. See, the very basic example which I always discuss with people is fan, because this is something which is very common. It is available to you, and if you remember in object also I explained you that only. See, if I ask you to switch on the fan, then what will you do? You will simply go to the switchboard, put it on, and switch it on, and then yes, the fan will start working, you'll get air, that all is okay. If I ask you to switch it off, you'll again go to switchboard and switch it off. Now in this entire thing, do you really know what happened as soon as you switched on the switch? What happened? Why the motor started working? How come the electrons have moved? How come electricity has gone to that motor? Do you know anything like that? No. Neither we know, and nor we are interested in knowing all that until unless we want to become engineer. Okay? So we really don't know about it. And we are least bothered how and why is it happening. What we want is that it should happen, it should give me the result, that's it. Similarly, while driving a car, or maybe a scooty, you all are doing that. So I'm basically talking about car right now, because I don't know scooty, okay? So I talk about car. We have accelerator, we have brake, we have clutch, we have, we need to change gears. So we know that. If I want to if I want to stop my car, I know I have to press the brake. If I want to increase the speed of my car, I know I have to press the accelerator. I have to change the gear. For that, I need to press the clutch. I know these things, basic things. But not many of us are aware why. Why to stop a car, we press the brake, and how it works. How is it so that the car stops? When we need to increase the speed of the car, we press accelerator. Fine, we know that much. But how the speed is increased, how the gear is easily changed when we press the clutch, why is it not changed when we don't press the clutch? So all these things are actually hidden from us, and we are least bothered about it. Now this is what abstraction is. Hiding the background details and letting us know only the essential features. Now one programming example, let us see. When we talk about programming, see, the very common example and the perfect example I find for that is your mathematical functions. We use this math.sqrt to find out the square root of any particular number. Suppose I need to find the square root of 41769. It's a big number. Although we can find it using take out the square root of this. I am damn sure 99.9% of us are going to go for this mathematical function and find it out. Maybe there is 1.1% person who is going to make an entire program for that. And that person is surely not aware of this function, otherwise that person would have never used it. We know about the function, so we just straight away use the function. Why will I waste our time in making the program? Now, when I apply this thing SQRT, I am least bothered. Why is it happening and how is it happening? How am I going to get the square root of this? I am least bothered about it. I just know that I need to apply this and I'll get the result. The essential feature of the square root I know. The function is square root, essential features I know. But the background details are all hidden. Okay, so this is one thing. So I hope abstraction is clear now. Then the next thing is encapsulation. Wrapping up of data and methods together is what encapsulation is. See, data is a different thing, and you know that Java allows us to break the entire program in several small modules and work on it. So in that case, what is the importance of having a class? The importance of having a class is that it ensures that all the data and methods related to that particular task are all kept together, encapsulated together in the form of a class. Okay, so this is what actually encapsulation is. In your real life, you can say we are using break, class, different parts, and when we compile, put them together, then only a car is built. Similarly, when we are using multiple functions, multiple data, it is of no use if they are kept aside. Let's talk about our own computer system. If I have a monitor separately, can I say I am having a computer? If I am just having a CPU, can I say I am having a computer? If I am having only a mouse, can I say I am having a computer? No. These things individually are not computer. But when they are put together, then that is computer. So when they are encapsulated, they are computer. Then they have certain meaning. Similarly, the data and methods, if they are kept aside, they are not compiled together, they are of no use. They are actually of no use. But when they are put together under one name, class name, then it makes some sense. Then it actually, so sorry for the noise, it is something coming from somewhere, okay? So this is what encapsulates data and method together and makes it an important part. And that is our class. So I hope encapsulation is now clear. Then the third thing is inheritance. Well, this term inheritance you must have read several times in your biology too, because inheritance is like inheriting features of parents. Like in real life, I'm telling you right now, just like most of the times we say she's as beautiful as her mother, she's as tall as her father, she's very intelligent like her mother, and blah blah blah, so many things we say. So all these things, well, you are a student of class 10 now, you have already read the topic of inheritance, so you must be knowing it very well. Children do inherit properties from their parents. And the similar thing we have in programming also. Till now you have not made any such program, but you will be doing it very soon. That we can make multiple classes within a class. Okay, and then at that moment the main class is your parent class and all the subclasses are the child classes. So child classes can inherit the properties of parent class. Why to mention the properties again and again if I am using it depending on the main class only? So why to do it? So I'll give you one more example. Suppose I am talking about mobile phones. Okay, I'm talking about mobile phones. See, most of the mobile phones are having the same features. They have touch. We can talk with the help of phone. We can click the pictures. We can use internet. We can listen to the songs. Moreover, the properties are same. Okay. Now, still mobile phone could be categorized in two: smartphones and keypad phones. But the features are more or less same. Smartphones can also be used for talking. Keypad phones can also be used. We can listen to music here also, there also. We can click a There also, here also. Some technical differences are there, otherwise the features are more over the same. So can't you say they both belong to the same class of mobile, and they are inheriting the properties of main class, that is mobile. Yeah? So this is another real life example. And programming example, I have already told you, we can create multiple classes within the main class, and that will give rise to inheritance. Now, how is it done? There is a key term used for it, so that I will be telling you later when we move on with the chapters and we'll come to the programming part. I'll tell you the key term which is used for inheritance. Okay, there is one word which is used to show inheritance, to apply inheritance. Okay, so let us move on to the next part, that is polymorphism. The representation of one thing in many forms is polymorphism. Poly means many, in many forms. So polymorphism is representation of one thing in many forms. Just like when I was saying smartphone, it hardly matters the smartphone is Vivo, Oppo, Samsung or what. They all belong to the same thing, that is smartphone. So the category is actually the same. It hardly matters if the names are different. This could be one thing. If I talk about table, it could be any table. It could be center table, it could be study table, it could be side table, corner table, dining table, dressing table, any table. Okay. Now in programming, I'll just give you one example. Maybe that will make the things more clear to you. Suppose I need to find out area of certain geometrical figures. So usually we give methods the name which is most suitable, like area of square, area of rectangle, area of circle, blah blah blah. But what if I don't want to write off and all that? What if I want only one name, area, to be used? Can I do that? Yes, I can do that. And this thing is known as function overloading. I can use the same name of function with different parameters here. Just see how. I can use the same name area with parameter LB. I can use area with parameter A. I can use area with parameter R. Now this surely represents length and breadth, that means I am taking out the area of rectangle. This is side. I am taking out area of side, area of square. Area R, I am taking out the area of, because this is radius, I am taking out area of circle maybe. So these kind of things are known as polymorphism, or we also call it function overloading in terms of Java. So these are the four basic features: abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism. Read these four features carefully, because any one of them surely 100% is going to be there in your class 10th examination board paper. And slowly and gradually when we move on with the classes, I'll tell you the important one also, which one has the most probability to be there. So that we'll do later on. So your homework for today is read it carefully. Take it as a homework only, because most probably I'll be posting the next video day after tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, you never know. So please be a little serious and do it nicely, okay? So bye-bye, take care and see you soon.